Welcome to Quilting on the Side, the podcast where we uncover the secrets to turning your passion for quilting into a profitable side hustle.
I'm Tori from the Quilt Patch by Tori.
And I'm Andi from True Blue Quilts. And together, we're your co-hosts on this exciting journey of creativity, entrepreneurship, and all things quilting.
We're here to help you navigate the world of quilt pattern design, course creation, digital marketing, and running an online quilt business. We've been through the ups and downs ourselves, so we know what it takes to make money from your favorite hobby.
That's right, Tori. We're going to share our experiences on how we've grown our businesses while balancing family with other paying work responsibilities. It's not always easy, but it's definitely possible. Welcome to season 4 of the Quilting on the Side podcast with Andi and Tori. Before we get started, I want to let you know that this episode is brought to you by Audacious in Person. So please visit quiltingontheside.com. Click the button in full view on the front page to find out all the details of this exciting event in Phoenix, Arizona in February of 2025. We'll give you some more information, so stay tuned, but we're really excited for that event. And as we start a brand new year, Tori, how are you kickstarting 2025? What's been going on here in January?
Well, it's not so much as a kickstart as it is a slow burn. Me and my husband got a new fridge, which was really exciting. However, I hurt my arm helping him bring it in. My shoulder specifically. So I have had to, again, slow down, take it slow. It's really hard for me to type and to work with my arm the way it is right now. Which I'm sure our audience can relate to if you've ever had an arm injury, a wrist injury, anything like that. Computer work has been really hard, which is frustrating because that is my business and that is my job. And it's been really slow going, but I have kicked it off, I think, on the right start, even though it's been a little slow. I have reorganized my workspace. We had, as a military spouse, we've moved a lot, and a lot of the stuff that we put in our basement was the broken stuff that we didn't really want the entire world to see when they came to visit. So we got rid of that stuff and we put in like a permanent bookshelf, and you can if you're on the video, you may be able to see it on my far right. I think it's on my right, but you can kind of see part of it. But my inventory is now organized and not in tubs. It's in a bookshelf and it looks so nice. But that's kind of how I'm leading off. January 2025 is with an arm injury and some organization. And I know we're going to get a little more into more of what we're doing, but I want to hear how you're kickstarting your new year, Andi. How's it going?
Well, I kind of was in the same boat in terms of being immediately derailed with a typical New Year's holiday cold. Everybody gets sick right after the family leaves and you've been sharing all the germs. So I powered through a little bit, but I had to really take it easy. And so, again, it wasn't like I was ready right out of the gate on January 1st. It has taken me some time to finish my reflection of what happened in 2024 and then slowly get all my plans in place for 2025. But one of my favorite things about a new year is starting fresh with a new calendar. that nerdy aspect of getting brand new notebooks and pencils and pens and all the fun stuff. I had kind of just done my own thing with some computer printouts in 2024, but I decided I wanted to be a little more professional and organized for the new year. And so I actually got the Maker's Yearbook. And this is such a great thing. I had heard about some other handmade businesses that showed it off, and so I ordered it on a whim, and it is gorgeous. It has these beautiful pages with quotes and, nice, soft, calming graphics. There's a whole big section on review and reflection, and then they get into the monthly spreads. And so you've got some planning pages, and then it's just got a nice blank space where you just make some daily lists and can check it off. And it really has a focus on knowing your numbers and reflecting on what's worked, and then making some short-term action-oriented lists for moving forward. And so I think this falls right in line with the type of things that we tell people to do to stay organized and stay focused on what is their bottom line and what is contributing to success. Do more of that. So I'm looking forward to digging into more of that with this Maker's Yearbook.
And it's funny because Andi was telling me about this book off camera or off microphone. And I was so convinced. I'm like, I'm going to go buy it right now because it has been suggested to me a few times. And the price point was kind of like, I'm not sure if this is going to work for me because, like Andi said, like new year, new notebook. I've done that a lot and they don't always work for me. But the way that you explained, the way you showed it to me, I was like, okay, I love the fact that it leads with reflection. And that is something that I really believe in. We've talked a lot about reflection on our podcast, but it's something that is not always a routine part of our process when it comes to planning and getting our stuff in order. And I love that it has that in there. Like, I love that. And that kind of, that's what honestly wrote it for me. Where I was like, okay, I need to get this and see how it works for me. Cause it looks like something, as you said, we spoke a lot about, and it can really apply to everything that we've been doing and talking about and teaching. And what I love that, again, reflection. So that was, I wanted to share with everyone and share with you, Andi, about a reflection practice that I did in December. So just a few weeks ago. And it was really powerful, and it stuck with me over the last couple of weeks. And it's really helped me frame my 2025. And I wanted to share it with you guys. And I'm sure from the way that you've described this planner, it could actually work with this planner as well. So one of the exercise I'm talking about, and I cannot remember which podcast I heard it on. Honestly, I cannot. I listen to podcasts while I work, so I'm not 100% sure which podcast it was, but he was talking about planning for 2025. And a lot of it was run-of-the-mill planning stuff, but this one exercise was something I had never really done before. Like, I kind of do it, but I don't delve into it. So the exercise is you make 3 columns. And this is actually something I led my DMMC group in, my digital marketing magic coaching program. And I had them create 3 columns. The first one, we're going to talk about everything that you did in 2024. So the last year, or if you're using this, you can do last quarter, even the last month, but write down every single thing you did for your business. And then the next column is, did it work or did it not work? And then the last column, and this is the thing that was different, really different from what we've done in the past. And that was to write out, what lessons did you learn? And it seems kind of simple. And again, it seems like something we would automatically do, but taking the time to write down the lessons that I learned from both my wins and my losses per se, or the things that didn't go quite well, it really helped me target what I need to work on. And I noticed themes kept popping up. So I used our Quilting on the Side notebook, and I filled up 4 pages, Andi, 4 pages of not only stuff that I did, but the wins and the lessons. And I had the same 4 things keep coming up. And I'm like, okay, this is what I need to focus on in 2025. And it felt good. Like, it felt like I finally pinpointed what I needed to work on. I'm going to go ahead and share those. Like, I'm not going to just skip over the good part, right? So those 4 things were: 1, communication. So I have been kind of lacking on communication. I put a few things off. Procrastination is something that I've been struggling with, but communication is on the top of my list. Organization is another one. So I'm part of the Craft Industry Alliance. I have joined a mastermind on productivity. So I think that's going to really help with my organization. So that's one way I'm kind of stepping forward into that organization theme. Responsibility is another one. And I don't know if that's quite the right word I'm reaching for, but it was close. And that one was coming out when it came to not following up on contacts. Like after H&H, I kind of dropped off the ball because right after H&H is June, where I have a ton of birthdays in June. And like I was dropping the ball on the contacts and reaching out to people and being more active in the social groups that I'm part of. So I wanted to take responsibility of my, especially social life, because I tend to be a little isolated because I do work in a basement for both my day job and my business. So I need to be more responsible on my own action when it comes to socializing and getting out there. And then lastly is rest. I never rested. I keep trying and I am not very good at resting. So I'm my goal for 2025 here, I think, when it comes to resting is sticking with planning the rest time. So still taking June off because that's something I need to do for myself. I have to take June off, but I also need to plan a time to rest where I'm not busy elsewhere. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
noticing that thing keeps coming up. I keep pushing myself till burnout, or at least till I run out of energy. And then I hit exhaustion. I hit, sometimes it's sickness. This time I hurt my arm because I wasn't exercising. You know, you guys got to exercise. I got to exercise. Otherwise, when you help your husband move a fridge and you catch it so it doesn't fall on him, yeah, it hurts your arm. And then you both have two bum arms because he had shoulder surgery like a few months ago.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that's
it's
no fun.
been interesting. Yeah. So that really, it was a very powerful reflection. And those themes coming up, it really felt good to dig down and figure out what I could improve on. Because my systems are good. They're not great, but they're good. And I know there's stuff that I can tweak in those and I know what to do with that. So going into 2025, I'm thinking this needs to be more intangible. And I didn't know how to do it. But then I did that exercise where it pulled out those themes and I'm like, ooh, there we go. Now I know what to work on. So I
Yeah.
wanted to share that with everyone because I feel like that is also helping kickstart my January, and keeping those in mind moving forward, I think is going to really help me be more productive and a better person, honestly, overall, because I went pretty deep on that where I was like, I need to be more organized. I need to be
Hmm.
more responsible, especially with my social life and things like that. So I hope that you guys find value in that because that was really powerful for me.
Yeah, those are great themes to carry through the year. And um, I kind of had a similar experience. I don't do a lot of, setting New Year's resolutions and goals just because I tend to there's not a hard line between the old year and the new year. I was doing a lot of things in December that were getting me ready for this year. And it wasn't like I could just take a break and pause and say, okay, so now I'm going to work on this new goal because I had already been working on certain things and deadlines and stuff coming up. So when I look back at how I'm trying to craft and build my business, one thing that came up was in terms of just typical quilt stuff is that I'd like to finish more than I start because, I'm a little bit older than you. And so the end of life is closer and I don't want to, not that I have a short time. I imagine I'll have decades more time to quilt, but I don't want to leave all these unfinished projects. And we had that great conversation with the loose ends project about finishing. So
Yeah.
that's been on my mind. So part of that is saying no more often, that I can't just start all these new projects because they look fun. I need to make time to finish. And yes, there will always be new exciting projects to get started on, but we can wait and do the things that are in front of us now and not get sidetracked. And that tends to happen. I have a hard time pushing through to that finish because it gets uncomfortable and I'd rather, be excited about a new thing than to deal with the hard obstacles that come up sometimes in the middle
Yeah.
of projects. But one of those ongoing things is collaborations. And I've got some exciting stuff lined up for True Blue Quilts in the new year. And I'm excited that we get to continue our Quilting on the Side podcast for season 4. And as always, if our audience has suggestions for guests, if you want to come on and talk to us about your quilting or crafting business, please reach out and we will make that happen. It is so fun to build this community.
Now you started a community elsewhere for collaboration as well. You want to talk about that?
Oh yeah, I love being on video, and I have met several other people that also have YouTube channels and things. So I have a Discord community for quilters on video. And if you have a YouTube channel, if you are thinking about doing video, whether that's vlogging or podcasting or whatever, we'll drop the link for that Discord community and you can meet with us. Discord is just kind of like a message board. It's almost like Facebook without all the outside distractions. It is just a message board for that topic. So I guess kind of like Reddit, but more interactive. How would you describe Discord?
Oh, your Discord channel is the first one I ever joined, and it's been pretty user friendly. It reminds me of Slack a little bit. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if you've messaged on Slack before. Kind of like the AOL, old AOL instant messaging, kind of reminds me of
Yeah.
that too. It's very straightforward, and it's just like you said, it's a message board, and it's been pretty user friendly, and it's been fun to see everyone talking on there.
Yeah, we've been sharing tips on live streaming. So that I think is an ongoing popular trend for all video content because people like to see live shows. So that's what we've been talking about on our Quilters on Video Discord channel. And there is a way to do live video meetups right in the Discord app. So that is convenient too to have it all in one place. What else are you doing with DMMC? You mentioned
Oh,
your community.
yeah, so I also had an ongoing project from December to January. So it's funny that you said that because I had the same like mental. The only reason I sat down to plan was for the DMMC. So actually took that time to plan with my community. So I did a makeover on the Digital Marketing Magic program. I've rebranded it. It's still a DMMC, but it's the Digital Marketing Magic Coaching program because I realized the focus really is on the coaching that you get in there, and what I love to do is the one-on-one aspect of the digital marketing coaching and helping people with their emails and helping them with their strategy and their systems, and currently I've been helping with ads, their Facebook ads and things like that. So it's been great, and that's where I shine one-on-one. In the group settings, I'm like, okay, let's do this. I know my role here, but it doesn't fill me with energy like it does when I work one-on-one with everyone. So I've restructured it where the program is now just slightly different. It's not a big change in the program, but it got spruced up. Like I added a little bit more branding, a little more explanation with the video. So it's not just a video with just a little explanation. So, and then I followed it up with more interaction within the community space, and I added a basic tier. So that way, if you aren't interested on the one-on-one coaching, you can get in on a low price. You can take advantage of all the group events as well as the community and the resources. So you get everything you need. And then if you do want one-on-one, then you pay a very discounted price for a one-on-one session. Or you can go the higher tiers where you get a monthly one-on-one with me. And then anything outside of that one-on-one a month, you pay the discounted. You get a steep discount. And I feel like it's going to be much more welcoming. And I've also, and if anyone's listening interested in this, I'm offering free workshops for the first, and I'm going to see how this goes. So I want to offer it at least 3 months and see who comes in, who's interested in it. And then from there, I'll move forward with it. But I'm hosting 3 free workshops, one in January, one in February, one in March, where I target a very specific theme on digital marketing. Like the first one is going to be ideal customer. The next one is going to be like landing pages. Like we're getting real focused on one thing and just kind of sharing the information for the wider quilt world, and then offering the DMMC on at the end of that. And then at the end, we're also going to be workshopping in a separate room with those that do join the DMMC. So anybody in the DMMC will come with me. We'll workshop their ideal customer. We'll workshop their landing pages. That way I can share this information in a wider platform at an affordable price. And then when you're in the program, you get that personalized experience, that personalized help. So that has been a huge project that has taken from October until I launched it January 1st. For my members. And so far, the feedback has been positive. So I think that moving forward, it's going to be a little bit easier on my plate to only not do a gigantic launch the first quarter of the year and just kind of take it a little bit more slow. Again, keeping it organized, resting, and communicating a little bit more, because I will be able to provide that one-on-one much more. Like it'll be scheduled in advance. And that'll be amazing, because before I offered the session, right? I offered the one-on-one, and then they would book it whenever. So they got to choose the time whenever. So they had 3 when they joined, and then some people weren't using it. Some people were they were holding on to them until they absolutely, absolutely needed them. I'm like, okay, that's great, but we also need to keep moving you forward, and you're stuck and you're not using the session. So how can we move forward? And that's what I came up with. We're going to meet. We're
Mhm.
going to schedule these meetings, because we need to make sure that you are getting your work done, that you are getting the system set up so you can make the money and get off the computer and back into your sewing space. Because that is the ultimate goal, is to get you off the computer, but sales are coming in while you're sewing, while you're quilting, while you're off talking to people and at shows and doing the things that you love to do. And maybe part of that is on the computer, but you don't need to be there all the time. So that's the,
Right.
kind of went off. I
Yeah,
forgot we
that
were on a
sounds
podcast for a second. I was just talking to you, Andy.
that that really sounds like a good way to lean into your strengths to provide value to your community. And I know I always appreciate when I have come into a group coaching situation, the draw is the coach. Their personality is what got me in. And so offering those one-on-one sessions with you directly, oh my gosh, talk about good. I get the benefit of working with Tori, so I get to pick her brain all the time.
You do, you do.
So I can highly recommend those strategy sessions as great ways to just focus. I get so much out of talking things out that, it really helps me clarify my thinking when I bounce ideas off someone else. So that's really terrific for the
And the
DMMC.
accountability. Almost like the accountability between like just you and me. I mean, just showing up for someone else is just invaluable.
Yeah, yeah. And we mentioned at the beginning that this episode is sponsored by Audacious in Person. So going into that idea of community and showing up live, let's share a little bit more about those exciting plans.
So, Audacious, we are planning a 1-day intensive business retreat for quilting businesses in person, like Andy said, in Phoenix, Arizona, the day before QuiltCon. So, we're taking 8 hours. Is it 8 hours?
Yeah.
It's eight
Yeah,
hours.
it's going
We're
to
taking
run
8 hours. I'm
from
like, I don't know if I did the math.
8 hours plus lunch. So you can show up between 8 and 9, and we'll get started at 9 a.m. Do the typical continental breakfast, let people chat and get to know each other. But I think we have a good day planned for productivity and getting your plans in order.
Definitely. Should we outline the entire plan?
Yeah, let's give people the full agenda.
Okay, so again, you can find this by going to quiltingontheside.com. You click on the yellow button on the front page and it'll take you to all this information. But we're meeting in a beautiful co-working space called The Department. It is gorgeous. It's right downtown, right next to where QuiltCon's going to be. So it's an easy walk if you are going to be near QuiltCon. And in the morning, we're going to be coaching you on your offer. So we want you to come with something in mind that you want to work on. And then we're going to help you target it, tweak it, make sure that it is something that your ideal client is going to love, but that also works for you. And then we're going to look at your social media. So we're going to look at your social media strategy and how you're approaching this on social media. So we're planning for social media. We're creating the images and the captions so that you have it ready to use when it's time to launch whatever it is you're launching. So whether you're doing patterns, whether you are doing a workshop, block of the month, you can take this social media strategy that we're going to come up with and use it as a template for your next pattern and your next workshop and your next block of the month. Or if you have a service, you can keep continuously using this template for that service. And it's going to be the same thing after lunch, a catered lunch. By the way, we're offering a box catered lunch. And after that, we're going to go into emails. So you can have the same thing for your email campaign. You'll have the same templates that you can use over and over again throughout the year in 2025 to make it easy for you to plug in the new numbers, plug in the new images, tweak anything you may want to tweak, but it's already written for you. So it's easy to recreate. And lastly, Andi is bringing in some really cool stuff so that we can take video for social media. We can take your images. You can hold up a quilt. She'll bring her quilt stand, and we're going to actually get those graphics made. And we're going to talk about what kind of images you can get from a quilt, what you can get with a pattern. And then when it's time to have a new pattern, a new quilt, then you can recreate those same angles, the same kind of ideas behind those pictures, the same reels behind those reels that we're going to create. And it's just going to be a 1-day intensive to get you set up for 2025. So again, you can get off the computer and into your sewing space and be where
Yeah,
you
I'm
need to
really
be.
excited to have that dedicated time. And social media is always one of those things that can feel like a burden. But I think having a group of us together, having someone else to hold the camera so you don't always have to be that person trying to set up the tripod and make sure you're framed correctly and all that kind of stuff. And then, like you said, having these resources that are created that then become a foundation, whether it's a formula that you can recreate later or just repurposing and sharing these images several times throughout the year to keep things fresh in mind is just going to be invaluable. And I think it's going to be a great day. There are a limited number of spots. So, we only have the one room. So once we're at capacity, we're going to have to shut down signups. But I really hope people take advantage of this and join us for the Audacious in-person event. Okay, well, that wraps up our first episode of season 4. We are so thankful that our audience is here for it, and we'd love to hear from you. So take care, happy quilting, and
don't forget to do a little quilting on the side.
What a great discussion. If you enjoyed this episode of Quilting on the Side, please leave us a review on whichever platform you're listening. It can be iTunes, Spotify, or even our YouTube channel.
And hit the subscribe button so you don't miss our next chat. Until then, remember to have fun in your business and do a little quilting on the side.